What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. So just on the recap on today's trades, I do want to give a shout out to all those members that participated in today's just networking and trading. Today's three biggest stocks that were traded today were JNUG, NUGT, CERU, and AUPH within our TechBud Solutions platform. I ended up trading 2 out of the 4 stocks. Ended up missing out. I was with my buddy James. We missed the pop through 120. I did shout it out. A couple traders were able to jump in way over 10% profit with CERU, and right after we jumped out of JNUG and NUGT, ended up actually doing very well for other traders. But let me talk to you about kind of how I did today and my whole thought process. So JNUG during pre-market hours, I knew that there was a low right on Friday at 650. I knew there was a high of pre-market hours at around 706. So I knew the support and I knew the resistance. During aftermarket hours or during pre-market hours, the support was pretty much 665. So I knew most likely within the day that JNUG was going to be playing around this area, right? 665 to 706. And it did just that. It spiked up pretty well, came back down to 665, and it was messing around at this area. Ended up getting in right above the support at 675, and there was a resistance at when I jumped into it at $6.85. Ended up not being able to break 685 when I was in it. Hit the resistance, was coming back down. I stop lossed out and I locked in 12 cents. Again, not the biggest thing, but it's because JDST, which is the opposite pretty much stock. When JDST goes up, JNUG and NUGT tend to go down. So with seeing JDST breaking certain resistance levels, we were getting the indication that it was starting to rise. So I ended up selling. I locked in my profits, and then it started to jump back down. Hit that support again at 665 and repeated that whole thing all over again until it actually broke. And it broke as JDST dropped below 410, 1410. NUGT and JNUG just skyrocketed within this, right? So it broke the resistance at 706, hit highs of about 730, and then started coming back down and built a new support around where the old resistance was at. So overall, a lot of traders were able to jump into it today. I only ended up trading JNUG once, and then I ended up trading JNUG or NUGT twice. So my whole breakdown with NUGT was that I identified the support here during pre-market hours, right, or on Friday at 880, right? So I knew that was the support, and I knew the resistance was going to be at or near either, the resistance here during pre-market hours or the resistance here during the trade on Friday. So how it ended up playing out was that it ended up hitting that support just like it did on Friday, right? So that was really nice. Ended up hitting the support around 880. We waited for it to go above the EMA line, so we jumped in at 890, and this was me and James, right? And then it hit highs of about 905, and then came back down. And it did this actually during the morning, right? So we're able to get in, and it was highs of during this pop, it was highs of 8 or 905, 906, but couldn't really break it. He locked in his profits before me, and again, I was in NUGT and JNUG at the same time. I locked in my profits. I put a stop loss at 8.99, ended up triggering, locked in my profits there, and that was pretty much it. Came back down to this support at lows of 881, ended up jumping in at 885, and within that, ended up riding it all the way to the 905 mark. Ended up selling because it was hitting that same resistance that it did before. So identifying the resistance here at around the 905 point, I didn't want to get greedy and I locked in the profits. But I did see this. I did see that it was showing upward momentum as, it hit the resistance, came back down. It didn't go as low as it did before. Hit the resistance, came back down, but it was showing growth, you see? And then hit the resistance, came back down, and then broke above the, resistance, ended up spiking all the way up to $9.30. And why 930? Well, if you look at 930 was actually really close to the resistance that we're able to identify around 922, as well as the previous resistance that it had on Friday right here. As you guys can tell based on these different candlesticks, it was a good sell point. So once it broke that, hit the 930, touched back, built a new support around this 920, 918 area, and it's kind of messing around this area as well. So it'll probably be trading around the 915 to 940 mark. But again, a lot of margin for profit. It's just I could have been more patient with NUGT, and I that's pretty much my mistake today. I could have locked in a little bit more, locked in $134, so not a horrible day. But again, I could have definitely done a lot better. I did shout out CERU because of the resistance it had. So this one was a huge gapper, had a huge drop in the morning, hit lows of about 115 if I'm not mistaken, and then started coming back up, hit highs of about 130 and then came back down, and then this is really where I ended up playing out. Hit highs of about 137 at the top, and was really trading around 120. Let me actually go just to the day and get a little bit closer and change the frequency for you guys. It looks like I already have it set, so it really held pretty well around 120, and it didn't really go above that 130 mark. So I built a new support at around this 120 area, 118, and a new resistance around 133. So again, it somewhat has close to that 10% potential, but because it has this huge gap, it does have a lot of margin for profit. So there's 2 different levels that I was able to identify, or 3 different levels if we identify the support at around the 110, or the 105. So the 105 to the 118, 118 to the 133, and 133 to 150, as you can see on these different levels. And when it breaks above 150, we might see a huge increase in volume and a huge gap that it might try to make its way all the way up to $3.24. But I know a lot of traders were able to jump in. I had an alert because I knew there was a resistance as soon as it opened at $1.20, and right as from this bounce, right as it broke above it, a bunch of traders ended up jumping in just because they saw and had a plan for success. So that's pretty much my recap on today's trading. Hope you guys found it helpful, and if there's anything else that I can do for you guys, please feel free to let me know. There is the link for the Facebook platform that you guys would have access to. We just hit a little bit over 4,000 members on this platform. Altogether, we're sitting a little bit over 8,000 members worldwide, and then it will give you and provide you with the links to the series of group chats that we have available. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you guys haven't done so already, just know that we do have a series of helpful videos that we publish Monday through Friday every day at 5:30 Mountain Standard Time, just to give you guys a better understanding on how to get into investing. Thank you guys again. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and let's make sure that we end this week on a green note. Take care, guys. Baby, don't you let it go to waste. We can put 'em all to shame. Now isn't the time to play it safe.